Hey, you guys, Deb Horn here, and I have a special guest today on Secrets of Successful Real Estate Investors. It's Jansen McLendon. Jansen is a We Buy Houses licensee in the Florida Panhandle and now the Mobile, Alabama area. We'll let him tell you all about that. But how you doing, Jansen? It's good to have you on the show here.
Hey, man, I'm doing great. Thanks for having me. Good to see you as well.
Awesome. As I mentioned, you started with We Buy Houses in May of 2020 in that Florida Panhandle, which I believe is like Pensacola, Panama City, that area.
Exactly.
What caused you to get started? I mean, well, let's maybe back up. Were you already active in real estate investing, and then kind of what caused you to go into We Buy Houses in May of last year in the middle of a pandemic?
Yeah, so we were actively flipping houses starting in 2016, and then we branched out from there. We started doing some wholesaling. Starting very beginning of 2019. And so as we grew our company, we expanded our market, our marketing. One of the things that we bumped up against was the fact that we really didn't have a good brand. We hadn't done a good job, I don't think, of building that brand of our company. And honestly, the name of our company, so it's Cornerstone Properties, and hey, we love the name, but one of the things that we bumped up against with that entity is that it doesn't clearly say what we do, who we are. And so we were seeing these issues, and so we decided, okay, you know what, we need to build our brand. We need to expand on this. We need people to know who we are, and we didn't really feel like we could do that to the level that we wanted to with the company name that we had. And then when we started looking into, even if we did have a different name, like, how expensive is that going to be? How much time is that going to take? And I think really the thing was time. How much time does it take to really build a solid brand that people know, that people trust, they recognize, they respect? And so honestly, we were using Fast Home Offer for some lead generation, and we were in some talks with those guys, and we had kind of stumbled onto WeBuyHouses.com. We said, well, what is this? And so that's how we started to learn. It was actually Kai Johnson.
Yeah.
And so he started telling us about it. I said, now that's pretty interesting. Who can I talk to about this? So he sets me up with a call with Mike, and I started talking with Mike, and like, okay, now he kind of explained the way it works, who you guys are. And I said, now this is a gold mine right here, because I mean, in 15 letters, here's my favorite part, 15 letters, WeBuyHouses.com tells you who we are, what we do,
mm-hmm.
where to find us.
Yeah.
I mean, it doesn't really get much better than that, right? And so we were talking to him, and he explained, just kind of how the licensing works and that sort of thing. We said, okay, this is it right here. This is the ticket, because it's an instant brand. You guys have put in the time yourselves. You've put in the money yourselves to build this brand. And so, we got to basically inherit your hard work, inherit your ideas and marketing and all that. And so it seemed like a great deal for us. With us, I'm a small business owner. We don't have a huge team, and, we're limited on time. I mean, all business owners are, right? We're limited on time. And so for us, this seemed like, I wouldn't call it an easy button, but it was a fast track to building up the brand in this area that we wanted. And so, I was really intrigued after I get off the phone with Mike, and I'm thinking, okay, I want to say this was maybe in January or maybe even December of 2019.
Yeah. And
so we're thinking, okay, in the springtime, March, April, we're going to be ready to go, and we're going to jump into this. And well, then, just like everybody else, 2020 caught us by surprise, right? And all of a sudden, there's a coronavirus, there's a pandemic, there's all these things happening. And so we paused for a minute. Really, I guess the whole world did, right? And we kind of reevaluated what we were doing and where we were going and all those things. And I'll be honest, for a little while, we were a little nervous. We were a little concerned about what we were seeing and hearing, and not really sure, what the real estate market was going to look like going forward, what anything was going to look like moving forward. And so we took some time and really thought through it. And honestly, kind of where we landed was, now's the time. Now's the time to strike. Now's the time to make a move. I'm one of these people, I really think, like, if the whole crowd is going one way, I should probably go the other way. Not on everything, right? But I think in business, a lot of times that is a wise thing to do. And so we decided it was worth the risk. Let's make the leap. Let's do this. And so called up Mike, said, "Hey man, we're ready. Let's jump in." And so we did, and it's paid off exponentially. We'll talk more about that. But the market's been great. Everybody has seemed to kind of settle down a little bit. I mean, we're recording this April 1, 2021, right? And the market is on fire right now. Yeah. So obviously ended up being a good move for us. And so now, we're just moving forward from there.
When you, who is your team? Is it you and a partner, or you and kind of tell me about the organization, if you will?
Yeah. So I'm the sole owner. We've got about a 9-person team right now, maybe 10 of like stateside people. We have a few virtual assistants that work for us as well, doing some various outbound marketing and then administrative tasks or whatnot. In the office, we've got 5 people. And then because we do a lot of flips, and so we keep 4 guys on the team full time on the rehab crew, like handyman type guys, and we've got a project manager, that manages those.
Yeah, so. Is that predominantly your model, is to buy, fix, and flip? Do you hold any? Do you do any wholesaling? Kind of tell me about that.
Yeah, so we do a little bit of everything. We started out as flippers, and then as the market got better, what we found is it's hard to find deals. It's hard to find deals with enough meat on the bone to make a profit. And so we bought at foreclosure auctions. We bought from wholesalers, and eventually we decided, hey, we've got to do our own marketing. We need our own deal flow to be able to consistently do this. And so we branched into that, and then naturally wholesaling kind of goes, hand in hand. You need, I think, a wholesaling outlet to be able to, move properties that maybe don't fit your buy box, but are still maybe good deals. Mm-hmm. And so we do some wholesaling, a little bit of buy and hold. We've got some commercial property, that we own and manage. And actually, I'm sitting here in the lobby of our new co-work space that we just
nice.
We just put together there. So we just put a small co-work space together that it's going to house our team, the WeBuyHouses.com team, Florida Panhandle, and then also we've got I think about 8 offices available, from some other entrepreneurs potentially. And so that's getting ready to open up here in a couple of weeks. So we're kind of, I guess, in all areas of real estate to answer your question.
Where are you guys located? Where's your office?
So we're in Gulf Breeze, Florida. It's a little suburb kind of Pensacola. So small town. I actually grew up here. So this is my backyard. I actually went to Gulf Breeze High School. So I'm a local guy. Moved away for a little bit, but came back and started a family and all that good stuff. And, yeah, so we love it here.
I don't think I've been all over Florida, but I don't think I've been to that, to the Panhandle. So I'll have to come visit you sometime.
It's a nice area. Come on down.
What type of marketing have you done with the We Buy Houses brand? Tell us about that.
Yeah, so we've done a little bit of everything. So right now, our best stuff is PPC. We're doing some PPC with WeBuyHouses.com. We're doing some radio. Radio's been pretty good. We talked about that. We are launching out some of the mailers here next week. We didn't really mail last year. We paused that for a period. It's expensive, and with some of the things that were going on in the world, we focused a lot on online. And so let's see. And then speaking of online, we also do, we're running some Facebook ads. We've been making some videos. Lately, we've got a good guy that's been putting some videos together for us, and we've been blasting those out with Facebook ads. So.
Yeah, and I noticed we offer a local website for your local market on the We Buy Houses domain, and you set those up for Panama City and Pensacola, and so you've definitely, one thing I like to think it's the reason people have success with the brand is when they use it. I've seen, and there's nothing there's nothing wrong with somebody's got a successful real estate company joining We Buy Houses and using it as a marketing channel, but typically those guys don't get as much from it as folks that take it and use it as their brand. I mean, obviously you're still Cornerstone. People are still, their whatever their LLC is that they do business under, but really using We Buy Houses to, I always use the word exploit. You want to exploit it. You don't want a brand to be a secret. And so you're really trying to just exploit it, get everybody to see it, use it wherever you can, put it on your shirts and on, your cars and on, and just use it in all ways you can. And it seems like you guys have really done that. And so let's just kind of speak to, 'cause the other thing I'm kind of aware of with your story is that it sounds like you've had a pretty good beginning of 2021. You're off to a good start is what I heard. And so just kind of tell me about the results. What is, you have been just going full on using the brand, and what have the results been as far as your business growth, or, kind of however you measure it?
Okay. Well, yeah, real quick, I want to add on to what you're saying about the brand. I think, if anybody's not doing that with WeBuyHouses.com, what we're doing or more, I think they're missing out. I think that, brand is extremely important in today's market. I think that our business is, it's growing. Our industry really is growing. It's evolving. You're seeing, large players get into this now, like Zillow, Open Door, OfferPad, those kind of guys. And so, and honestly, I think if it's a little bit of a side note here, but if you read the reviews on those guys, they're not so great, how they're handling, transactions, but that's another conversation. But anyway, there are bigger players getting into it. People know more and more what wholesaling is, what flippers do, and home buyers like us are, they're not just, it's not just like Johnny from down the street kind of thing anymore, right? And so I think that as that is happening, and then as well as what's going on in the world right now with COVID, and it seems to be, we're in this crazy world right now, and trust is huge, I think. And so if, as a business, you need a brand. You need a brand that someone can trust, because if they can't trust you, they're not going to do business with you in today's market. They're just not. And so I think that for us, I saw the value in that immediately. Like, this is it. This is it for us. Now, we have to back that trust up in the way that we do business, right? That's
right. Yeah.
Maybe even more important, right? But first, they have to find you. They have to trust you enough to make a phone call or fill out a web form, right? And then you've got to do your part from there. But that's huge right there, is that brand. So having that said, we're coming up on, I guess, close to a year. It seems like it's been longer actually, but so 2020 was our best year ever in business, and so I'm really grateful for that, because I know a lot of people it wasn't their best year, right? And so we dealt with the same struggles that everyone else did, I think, just the world and dealing with change and uncertainty, but business wise it was our best year. And so then coming into 2021, we had high aspirations. We wanted it to be our next best year. And so January actually ended up being our best month ever. And so we're really stoked, to be starting the year off with that. As far as, revenue coming in, gross profits coming in was our best month. And then we were able to follow it up in February with our new best month. And we exceeded it by, I think almost 20%. And then heading into March, we had a lot of stuff in the pipeline. We had flips under contract, ready to sell. And so to tell you the truth, I don't have my final March numbers yet, but I think we exceeded February. And so last time I was talking to Mike, a week or two ago, I told him I think March is going to be our new. So back to back, we're doing it like the Bulls in the 90s. We're going for the three-peat, right? So, but either way, it's been a great month. And so, the first quarter of 2021, it's off to a wild start. So we're really grateful for that.
So you mentioned radio, and you've been doing that, and so radio is a great strategy for certain size markets, and when they get too big, it gets too expensive. So it seems to me that you're probably in one of those sweet spot markets where the cost value equation of radio actually is working out okay. Tell me a little bit about that, though, because I've had a few people ask me about radio lately, and there's someone that's had some success with it. So in fact, what I'll do right now is I'll run the radio spot so that people can hear it.
Okay, cool.
Has your house become a headache? Sell to WeBuyHouses.com. WeBuyHouses.com is the easy way to sell today. Are you behind on payments? Have too many repairs? Tired of being a landlord, or just plain tired of owning that house? We can help. We'll buy your house as is. No closing costs, no repairs, no commissions, no more hassle. Call WeBuyHouses.com today. 850-203-3333. That's 850-203-3333.
Okay, so that's the spot. It's a great spot. That's your voice on the radio spot, right?
Yeah, I'm semi-famous here in the Panhandle now.
Man, it's good. I think a lot of people would like to have a radio voice as good as yours. But so how's it like? What kind of channel is it on? What kind of coverage are you getting? What kind of response do you get when they run? Kind of tell me a little bit about the radio experience.
Yeah, so radio's been a good channel for us. When it comes to marketing, this, Dev, it's not one channel, it's
right.
All of them, right? And it's all those things that they kind of work together. It's just like flipping a house. You could put all new cabinets in, and that'll add some value, right? But if you do the whole new kitchen, the new bathroom, the new front, you put all those things together combined, then they can really create some value and really make a difference in the finished, product or the finished price or whatever. I think it's kind of like that with marketing. All those things combined come together. So radio is a good avenue. I think that, for us, we were looking at how do we get this, again, back to the brand, how do we get this brand in front of as many people as we can, efficiently and effectively. And radio was a way to do that. A lot of people rule radio out because it's old school. I'm a millennial. Okay. So I gotta be honest, I don't listen to the radio. So for me, it was I had to kind of overcome that mental, hurdle there. 'Cause I don't listen to the radio. Who does? Well, you got to get back to, who's your target audience? Who's your target market? And for us, 55 and up is really good for us. We're typically buying from older folks who, they've got some equity in their house and they don't really want to take the time to fix it up or list it. They've got that, ability to be able to just, sell it for cash and move on kind of thing. And so those folks do still listen to the radio. And so we went after, I think you hit the nail on the head. A larger market could be hard. In some ways, maybe we've been fortunate we're in a good market, but those mid-sized markets all over America right now, those mid to small size markets are really, there's a lot of untapped potential there. In fact, Mike sent me over a list of some of the available cities and still out there available for WeBuyHouses.com. And I was drooling over. I'm like, oh man, I want them all, but you can't do them all, right? But there are some good areas available. But so we went for country. We're here in the South, so we're in Florida, but we call it where we're at in the Panhandle. We call it LA. Lower Alabama. We are right next to Alabama. It's North Florida is a little bit different, and so country works great for us. And then we also we're on a soft rock channel, and so again appealing to that demographic, our target audience. And so
how did you guys buy your radio? Somebody locally? How did you find your spots?
Yeah, for us, so I'll say we bought it slowly and methodically. What we figured is, especially in not just today's world with COVID and all that kind of stuff, but also now radio is not it's not a growing thing, right? It's on the decline. We all listen to Spotify or Pandora or whatever now kind of thing. So we felt like we could negotiate that. And so we did. And so we got a quote. We kind of did like everybody else. We did, if you're looking at, we Googled some stuff, right? And we found, okay, there are these certain players in the radio market here. And we reached out to them, said, hey, here's what we'd like to do. They gave us some quotes that, blew us away. And we said, hey, so we like the time slots that you've got, and we like this, but how about this price? And they laughed at us. They said, there's no way we could do that. And, hey, just like what we do when we're buying houses, right? We've got to get a good deal on this for it to make sense. And so we were just persistent. We kept following up, hey, we're still here. Hey, we'd like to give you some money this week, are you interested? So they finally came around. It took actually about 3 months. I'm not gonna lie, I was getting impatient, and I was wondering if we were actually gonna be able to get the price that we wanted, but we were. And so once we got our foot in the door, we found out, okay, well, these guys have some other channels. We started with just one, so then we added a channel, and by then they knew, we weren't gonna pay any more than what we were gonna pay, and so they just gave us that one for the same rate. But yeah, so that's how we did it. And so if anybody is looking into radio, I'll just say, like, if you're patient, you're just firm, you can get what you're looking for. It's all negotiable.
Yeah, I think a couple of things for folks to learn from that is that you can negotiate your own radio, and they will negotiate with you, but you got to be smart. Like, you can't just cave too quickly. But the other thing that you said I thought was really important is I've seen radio work as a component of a multifaceted strategy for folks, where, like, I don't know if they're doing it right now, but I remember in Birmingham, they at one point had like 8 billboards around the city, and they were running on one of the most popular stations, and the two things together were really, caused their phone to blow up. And at least when they first started doing that stuff, they told me they got more calls than they could handle. So it wasn't one or the other, it was that combination. And you can imagine, if people hear a radio spot, they might see a postcard at some point, they see it on Google, they start to tie those things together, and the brand starts to seem, even bigger than it is, in the minds of the consumer. They'll be like, you guys are everywhere. Because I've heard that before. Somebody saw us in 2 or 3 different spots, and, oh yeah, I see you guys everywhere. It's just the perception. And
Yep.
they really, and you know, one of them kind of tying up loose ends, but one other thing you said I thought was super important is that a brand is really gives you, I call it an umbrella of trust under which ethical professionals can thrive, you know, because you're good at what you do, you're a good guy, you run a legit, ethical, professional business. You just got to get found. You know, it's people, you just need to make that connection to people so that they can come over and engage with you and see what you have to offer. And the brand is that thing that people say, you know, I've heard of that, I trust that, I know what that is, and they make that connection over, and you can take advantage of that, as I think you guys certainly have. The other thing that I thought I don't know if we mentioned it yet, is that you just expanded into the Mobile, Alabama market, and which you kind of said is already very close to your market. So what are the plans there, and any unique challenges about having your team work, you know, a little bit farther out, or were you guys already doing deals in Mobile?
So no, we weren't doing deals in Mobile. In fact, when we first came on with you guys, that was a market we were very interested in, but it wasn't available. And so we just focused here on the Panhandle. We weren't, like I said, we actually haven't done any work in Alabama just yet, but we had, you know, the aspirations to expand there. We're so close, it just makes sense. And so yeah, when you know, it's one of those things. A few weeks ago, follow-ups. I think maybe what you'll hear, you know, throughout this conversation is follow-ups are important, whether it's radio or marketing, you know, trying to get your prices down. Or, you know, I followed up with Mike and a couple weeks back and said, hey, are those counties available? Mobile County, Baldwin County, by chance? And I was pretty surprised. He came back to me and said, actually, they just came available. I said, well, how about that? You know, so we were not ready to just jump right in feet first as far as expanding our market, our marketing, and all of those things, but we knew, like, we need to lock this up. We need to go ahead and get this deal done. And so we wanted that territory. And so we moved into it. And so I told Mike, I said, give me a couple of days to think about it. I want to make sure I'm making the right decision. Thought a lot about it, prayed about it. And I said, okay, yeah, it's what we've been wanting for some time. The timing, you know, wasn't exactly what we thought it was going to be. But, you know, that's kind of how life is sometimes, right? And so yeah, we decided to jump in. Now, so for us, where are the obstacles? You know, anytime you're expanding, you know, we've got a number of challenges. So we're trying to figure out, are we going to be a boots on the ground company there? Is this going to be a virtual market? Are we going to be able to do everything we do here over there? Meaning, are we going to buy and flip, buy and hold? Are we going to wholesale? Are we going to do it all? So we're still kind of figuring out some of that, but what we've decided is we do think boots on the ground are important. What I mean is, like, people there in person locally, not just doing everything over the phone. And so we will do some stuff virtually. We can close over the phone. And so in the beginning, we're just going to kind of, you know, work our way in there, I guess, kind of scale it up over time. And then eventually, I think we'd like to have an office over there as well, just so we have a location and a presence there, because, you know, it does give, I think, a little bit of, you know, added trust and professionalism and things of that nature. So that's what we're looking at, and, you know, possibly doing something like, well, hey, you're the first guy I'm telling about this, but this, you know, this co-work space that we're launching this month, you know, we think we might do something like that over there. And so, in fact, we think we might do something like that over in Panama City, which is, it's one of our current markets, territories, but it's a few hours east of us. And so we like the idea of having these co-work spaces that we can, share office space with people, keep our expenses down, could be a good investment, and we can put a WeBuyHouses.com sign on the street, right? So we're right here in Gulf Breeze on the main highway, Highway 98, and putting our WeBuyHouses.com up there on the highway. It just adds a layer of legitimacy. So so we're thinking, hey, can we do this in all of our markets? Why not? So.
Well, I tell you what, man, it's exciting to see, like on your side, what happened, because since May of last year when you joined, because at that point, for those watching, I onboard everybody that joins. Kind of spend some time with me, and we kind of I can't tell you guys about how the system works and all that kind of stuff. And it was just 2020, just like you said, kind of on our side here at the corporate level. Jeremy and our CEO, we were wondering in March, April, because we were about to have our conference in April in Dallas, and in March I had to make the call to cancel it, and it was sad because we had a lot of people coming and everybody was excited, but the weird thing that kind of that we saw in the months that followed was we had more people join We Buy Houses in 2020, I think, than any other single year. And wow. So in a weird way, it was a good year for us, even though it was such a crazy year in so many ways. And it seemed to be a good year for a lot of We Buy Houses folks, a lot of people in real estate in general. The real estate market is just continuing to thrive, if not being a little too hot in some places. But so it's really nice to kind of catch up with you now some months later and just see how did it go, and did it go the way you hoped? Sound like it went pretty good, and it's resulted in you guys expanding, and we look forward to helping you any way that we can as you look to take advantage of the new market, the current market. We're here to help you, and so, man, just I'm proud of you guys. I just love to see people succeed, right? And the battle's not over. We still have months ahead and a challenging, low inventory market and things like that. But it seems like folks like yourself using the brand are really able to break through the noise and the clutter of Zillow and everybody else saying they buy houses, and people understand that we buy houses. So I think it's just a really good story. Is there, as we start to wind it up, is there anything that, knowing that the other licensees and some other folks will listen to us talk today, is there anything you wanted to say to people or closing comments that you had?
Well, I was just going to say, going back the last time you and I talked, you were working out of your house, I was working out of mine, and the question was, are we going to get to come out at some point, right? Like, what is this? And so we don't know exactly, what the future holds, but we do know that that the market's evolving, it's changing. And so I personally want to be a company that is, moving with that change, one step ahead of it. We don't have a crystal ball, but we can look at data, we can look at trends, and what we can see is that as, we're dealing with crazy low supply right now, which is driving prices up. We saw that all of last year. I think it's safe to say that nationwide affordable housing is it's an issue at the least, and I think in some areas it's you might label it as a crisis. It's not that way here so much, but affordable housing is it's a real need, And so, especially in hotter markets, like you mentioned, like these prices are going higher and higher, and the average Joe may not be able to afford those. So what's that going to look like for those guys? And I think what you're going to see is these mid to small markets are really going to be on the rise. And so we're pretty excited about South Alabama, because there's a lot of rural property in some of those areas. And I think especially people rule out those small rural markets a lot. Can you do 50 flips a year in one of them? No, I don't think you can, and most of them, right? But there's opportunity there. There's not a lot of competition. And you've got a lot of guys that are working from home. A lot of, folks, families, they can work from home. They can live anywhere now, right? And so do you want to live in the place where you've got to pay $200 a square foot, to be in an average neighborhood, or you want to live in a place where you could pay half and maybe even have some property? I think you're going to see that start to trend more and more. And so we're excited about those opportunities with the expansion. We're excited to kind of learn some of those rural markets. I think it's a little bit of a different animal, but we think we can learn it, and we can, like you said, exploit, the brand there, and just really, take advantage of it and help some people. And so we think, back to the WeBuyHouses.com thing, with you guys, it's kind of like we've got, it's not just us anymore. We've got this team, we've got these connections. I've been able to talk with other licensees and other markets there in Iowa or Seattle or whatever, and talk with Mike and talk with you, and we have this team, and so I think together we can kind of stay on top of these changes, stay on top of these trends, and kind of move with the tide, if you will, as things shift. And I think that's how we're going to be successful. The one thing that is, certain is that there's going to be change, right? We know this. We don't know exactly what it's going to look like. I could be dead wrong on the real thing, but I do know there's going to be change. There's going to be a shift, and we're going to be, I think, right there, ready to capitalize on it, when it does happen. And I guess, man, the last thing I'll say is, when it comes to doing business, I really do think it's just really simple. We got this awesome brand with WeBuyHouses.com. We do, of course, have to leverage it in different ways with our marketing and whatnot. But really, a lot of that work it's already been put in. The brand is there, all that good stuff. Now it's on us to do business in a certain way. And for us, I think a lot of the reason we've been successful is we keep it simple, and we just do business the right way, man. We're all about three things in our company. It's integrity. If you don't have that, of course, you can't do business. You'll never make it. I think most people know that, right? Excellence is one of our core values, one of our three as well. I think we need to be really good at what we do. I'm not the smartest guy, but I know smart guys, and I learn from those guys. And, we're always trying to read, learn, and really just stay on top of our craft and be good. But maybe the biggest one is, and this is our third core value, is caring. And I don't think you'd see that necessarily like up on a lot of people's, boards or whatever. But I think that caring it's an undervalued trait. We actually care about people. We care about the people that we're dealing with, the sellers that we're dealing with, the buyers that we're dealing with. We care about the contractors that work for us. We care about, our team here. We care about people. And, you can't put that all over your billboard or your postcard. Hey, we care about people, right? That's not how you do it. You just actually care about people. And I think people will see that. And, that's one of those things you can't fake, and we just consistently do that. We just care for people, and we just try find wins for them and the company. Always looking for a win-win. And I just think if you can do those things, then you're going to be successful. It doesn't really matter the market, I think you're going to be successful. That's my 2 cents on that, so.
Man, that's awesome. I don't even want to add much to that because it was such a good wrap. So I tell you, with that, we'll just we'll call it a day here. Call it an episode done of our show here. Thank you for joining me, Jansen. I love hearing your story, and mostly you're just a smart guy, and you're a smart and enthusiastic guy that is taking advantage of. It's a good brand, but it wouldn't be a good brand if it wasn't backed up by people like you. And so I just want to thank you for bringing what you bring to the brand, to the table, and because everybody that has a great experience with WeBuyHouses.com in Florida could end up anywhere else in the world and carry that good impression with them, that good feeling of what this brand means and the kind of people that are involved with it. So with that, I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye and wrap it up. And thank you. And we'll look forward to hearing how things go in Mobile and helping you guys as you look at taking advantage of that market as well. So I'll let you go.
Good.
Get back to business. Go buy some houses.
Hey, thanks, man. Really appreciate it. It's an honor to be on the show, and appreciate you guys, and look forward to updating you with some good results here in the future.
Cool. All right. We'll see you.
All right. See you, Dad. Thanks.
Any house